So, all right, so we'll be recording this, and this will also be up online on the CytoSolve website. Prabhakar, can you just share the website where we host all the
Yeah.
previous ones? So any one of you who missed the previous symposiums, this is our sixth or seventh one, and then we record it and we produce it. And we also put it up for people. That was one of the requests people made earlier. Could you get to the videos? So if you go here, on cytosolve.com, and it's under education, and it's under symposiums. And so in that area, as Dr. Prabhakar is showing, these are the ones in reverse order. So the last one he did was on oral health. The one before that was on GMOs. Then we did one on pet health, one on joint health, and then how do we end animal testing? So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so it's our sixth one. But today we're going to be talking about liver health. And Dr. Prabhakar shared with you, that everything we do, we take a systems approach. And it's very different than taking what's called a reductionist approach. In a systems approach, you're focused on understanding what's actually going on, but interconnecting the systems apart. So we're going to look at the molecular science. Previous slide, Prabhakar, a little bit too fast. On liver health. So you're going to really understand how the liver functions. And then we're going to talk about some very interesting work we did on an interesting molecule called, I think, glucaric acid, right, Prabhakar?
Yeah.
Which we recently published, and how that has some very, very beneficial effects for liver health. Next. So we're going to talk about the importance of system science, which involves, when we present a scientific discussion, we don't just talk about science, we'll connect science, politics, and health. Then you'll learn what is CytoSolve, a very powerful technology platform that came out of my work, my PhD work at MIT, to eliminate the need for animal testing. So we can actually understand what's going on at the molecular level. And then you'll understand how we actually proceed in this innovation process. Then you'll learn what is liver health. And then everything we do is a public service, but we also look to people to support our work in whatever way they want. Next. We went through the journey to systems video. Next. So the why is very, very important. Why are we motivated to even do this symposium today? Why do we take time out of our day to do why are you guys here? Well, from a systems approach that our movement talks about, Prabhakar, you're letting in people, right, from the waiting room? Or I can do it.
Yeah.
I got them. These two curves reveal the reality of what's going on globally. Cynthia says, very grateful you're teaching us. You're welcome, Cynthia. You can see between a little bit before 1970 till today, that the cost of living continues to grow explosively. But the concomitant activity that's also taking place is that lifespan is going down. You would think that lifespan will be going up, but it's actually going down. And this is a systems problem that's occurring globally. So when you look at this, the only conclusion you can see in the most colloquial terms without being hyperbolic is that there's a set of people who are committed to killing people, either through the infinite amount of stress that's caused by this. Next. And what's driving this is stress. The stress on the healthcare systems, where people have really no idea how to really handle their immune systems. Immune systems being destroyed. It's difficult to get healthy foods. And the educational system doesn't teach people a systems approach. Solving problems is what innovation is about. People are not taught the methodology to solve a problem, so they keep relying on others to do it. The governance systems is obviously composed of corrupt leaders everywhere we look. And the economic system has gotten to a point where people have very, very little savings. Savings culture is not really taught to people, so people just spend as though it's their last day on earth. So these things create immense amount of stress. Now, our movement has solutions for each one of these. We're the ones who teach people how to support their immune systems. We've created the clean food certification, which helps resolve where do you get clean and healthy food. We have the Truth, Freedom, Health Institute, where we teach people how to think. We have Innovation Corps, which teaches people how to innovate. You know, my running for office and president gives people the opportunity to see what a true leader of the people looks like. And then we do many, many videos explaining and teaching people on how the economic systems work. So we have solutions to all of this. Next. So as a movement, Truth, Freedom, Health, next, focuses on those solutions to strengthen your immune system, how to eat local and healthy foods, how to know truth from lies, how to make your children smarter, how to be a leader. We have an entire leadership training institute. A lot of people apply, few people make it, and that's okay. But we're creating leaders who actually know how to lead, from organizing people to filing lawsuits, to mobilizing people to get signatures, help us get on the ballot, to running meetings. I mean, there's a lot of training that we do. And so we're creating this infrastructure for long term change. Next. As a part of this, everyone here, if you haven't done so, for God's sakes, go to truthfreedomhealth.com, become a warrior scholar. It's a nominal amount, but the knowledge that you get is what I used to teach at MIT. You can't get this anywhere else. It's a systems-based knowledge. It's got many, you get books, you get training, you get a community, but you learn how to think from a systems approach. No different than how the swarm learns to think. And those of you who signed up, don't be a dilettante, finish the courses. You paid for it, go finish them. Take them multiple times, but everyone here commit to doing that. It's one way that you're supporting yourself and supporting our movement by doing that. Next. As a part of that, you can start by coming to our open house, which we do every Thursdays at 11 a.m. and 8 p.m. We have one coming tomorrow. Dr. Prabhakar has that link there, vashiva.com/orientation. Next. Because what we're teaching people is the integrative nature of thinking, fighting, and healing. You can't just focus on health or just focus on fighting or just focus on being a nerd. Got to do all of them. Next. As a part of that, we have 3 solutions platforms, very broad and deep platforms. One is Truth, Freedom, Health. One is VA Shiva Systems Health. One is CytoSolve. Next. And these platforms train people in leadership, how to look at the body as a system. You don't have to be a healthcare practitioner, but anyone can take that and become a health educator, which is, by the way, a $30 billion industry. So you can actually create a career out of from the Systems Health Institute. We have a whole training program. And we also teach people how to do research at the Open Science Institute. Next. One of the cores is to recognize food as medicine. Next. And as a part of that, we are the organization globally that has created the Clean Food and Raw Food Seal. And that seal you'll find on major products, which define the sourcing of that food, how it came, etc. Prabhakar, can you continue the other aspects here?
Sure. So the second aspect of this is not just define what can be a clean and ethically sourced food, but also can we take these natural compounds from food and create powerful medicine. So that's where we have CytoSolve in the form of our solution. So one of the solutions that we have provided so far is the MV25, which we'll hear later on, that is derived from natural compounds that are part of our foods. And then lastly,
one thing, Prabhakar, I think one thing to mention in that, if you go back, you know, there are 10 to the power of 39 compounds in food, 10 to the power of 39 molecules. Synthetic compounds are about 60,000. So nature has literally infinitely more number of compounds. So what we're doing with CytoSolve is we're identifying those compounds and natural compounds, learning how to mix them together to find new products. Go ahead, Prabhakar, I'm sorry.
And then thirdly, we have the systems health solutions, where understanding the food and creating new medicine from food is good, but we should also try to understand what the right food and what the right medicine is for the right person at the right time, and that's where you have the your body, your system solution. So this is a solution where if you put the information in, it can tell you what body type you have and what is good for that particular body type, what is the right food, what is the right medicine, and
Yeah,
when.
and one thing I think we need to mention here is the principle here is based on the body is self-healing. It wants to heal itself. So different people are lacking different nutrients. It's quite simple, actually. Different people need different kinds of inputs, exercises, particular food, supplements. And if you give the body those foods, it heals itself. That's what this is all about. And this self-healing process was, was denoted, we denoted as a natural system state. The ancients denoted as a prakriti. Modern system science or modern medicine has a sort of a term that comes akin to it called homeostasis. But the systems health tutorial we run every Fridays. I think we have one this Friday, right, Prabhakar? Or next Friday. But
Yeah.
you can become a systems health educator and you can create a career out of this. So again, this is a solution where you can help people. You can give people the framework to go through all this confusion to figure out what's the right food for the right person at the right time. But more importantly, the concept we're teaching people here is there's no one solution to everything. It's a very stupid model out there where people say, don't eat that, don't eat this. The reality is everything is poisonous on some level. And it's all about learning how to be an alchemist and mixing things. If you eat meat and you're going to do it and potentially can create inflammation, well, add this, this, and this to counter it. If you're going to eat certain foods, they're going to cause different kinds of coagulation in your body, then add this to thin it, you say? So you learn how to be an alchemist with this, not to be an idiot who just says, I'm going to do a raw food diet. I'm going to do keto today. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And that's what's going on. People are just looking to someone else to save themselves and not wanting to use their brain. This tool provides you the knowledge so you can actually have a framework to use your brain properly. So it's very powerful. And this is really the future of health. It's not watching video after video after video on YouTube and thinking someone's going to give you a problem. They're not a solution. They're not. They're going to actually get you more and more confused. Thanks, Prabhakar. Next. So we have these three solutions. These are real, tangible solutions that our movement has created for you. My running for president gives people another solution, but we're not waiting for them. CytoSolve is putting out products. Systems Health is a platform, clean food, and all of you can participate in this. Thanks. Next. So again, go to truthfreedomhealth.com, support this, support yourself. Next. And there's a video on that site you should watch on what is the Truth, Freedom, and Health movement. Next. There is a cost to this. You can get the free with a supporter membership, or you can pay $100 a year. These are nothing. It's contribution. Next. Even for nothing, we give you about a 20-part course so you understand the use of system science in many fields, from climate to food, etc. You should go through that. It'll save you 20 years of your life. Next. And then the Warrior program, next, Prabhakar, gives you 15 different gifts, books, programs, probably about 40 different courses that you can go through. But you should go through this. It also gets you on the ground and doing stuff versus sitting on your bohunkus doing nothing. Next. So again, come to the orientation. So when we look at all of this, next, we want to today focus on one of the solution spokes, which is CytoSolve. And so before we go into this, I think it's valuable to understand what is CytoSolve. I think that's next, right, Prabhakar?
Yeah.
So we're going to play you a video so you understand what is CytoSolve instead of me sort of just repeating it. Thanks, Prabhakar.
Who would have ever thought someone like me would invent email and create CytoSolve to revolutionize health for personalized and precision medicine, a system for delivering the right medicine for the right person at the right time? I was born a low-caste untouchable in India's caste system, a system of aristocracy, oppression, and racism. As a child, I observed my grandmother, a poor village farmer, practice Siddha, India's oldest system of medicine, to heal local villagers by observing their face, to know their unique constitution, to deliver a unique combination of foods, healing herbs, and massage. The caste system and her abilities to heal inspired me to understand the interconnectedness of all life. My name is Dr.SHIVA Ayyadurai. I'm an MIT PhD, a Fulbright scholar, a scientist, technologist, and inventor. My family and I left India to come to America on my 7th birthday. As a 14-year-old, I began working as a full-time research fellow at Rutgers Medical School to unravel the mysteries of sudden infant death syndrome, SIDS, and created the world's first email system long before I ever heard of MIT. As I traversed academia over the next 3 decades, I observed self-serving academics, never solving real problems, writing grant after grant, competing for tenure, while diminishing real science and real scientists, pushing a reductionist science to destroy the scientific method. Like the blind men who never saw the whole elephant, but the parts, they delivered a dismembered view of reality. I observed Big Pharma use such reductionism, wasting billions year after year to fund research in test tubes, killing animals, and using the poor as guinea pigs for clinical testing to create products that even the FDA no longer allowed. Not only Big Pharma practiced this reductionism, but also the elites of Big Vitamin, Big Green, and Big New Age, with gurus and yogis, empowered by Hollywood celebrities, selling one supplement after another based on a cherry-picked science. All that changed in 2003 when the Human Genome Project ended, revealing that humans have the same number of genes, about 20,000, as that of a worm, giving rise to a systems biology. We realized that one-size-fits-all medicine was a failure. We realized their medicines were killing us, making today's generation's lifespan shorter than any previous generation. Obesity, heart disease, deaths from adverse reaction to drugs, confusion on what diet, what supplements, and who to believe is what they have delivered you. They push natural and organic products for your beauty and wellness, while their real solution is their plastic surgeons and Botox. We've been sold out. It's time for real science, a system science that interconnects the parts to discover truth, to know what really works, to get the health we need and deserve. This is why I created CytoSolve. CytoSolve is about truth, freedom, and health versus power, profit, and control. CytoSolve is a revolutionary technology integrating bioinformatics, computational biology, mathematical modeling, decentralization to reveal the truth. CytoSolve computes trillions of potential combinations of biomolecular interactions to discover what actually works based on the actual science. No reductionism, no cherry picking. CytoSolve's predictive modeling has been proven accurate time and time again, matching laboratory results. CytoSolve discovers synergistic combinations of compounds to maximize health and reduce toxicity. For example, we know curcumin from turmeric and resveratrol from red grapes alleviate inflammation, but how much should we combine? Current methods are hand-waving at best. Here, with CytoSolve, we first model the control condition with no curcumin and no resveratrol to simulate high inflammation with the cytokine level at 0.15 micromolar. Next, we add just 5 micromolars of curcumin. The inflammation drops to 0.05. Next, we use 5 micromolars of resveratrol and the inflammation drops from 0.15 to 0.06. But when we combine curcumin and resveratrol of 3 micromolars of curcumin and 2 micromolars of resveratrol, inflammation drops from 0.15 to 0.03, far lower, nearly 200% less than just one compound alone. That's the synergy principle of system science. We've all had enough of their fake and reductionist science. They think we'll simply keep buying their marketing, their celebrities, and their products that can never truly heal us. We don't need them. Great things come when we integrate the best of things. It's our time. It's time we delivered solutions for ourselves. It's time for truth, freedom, and health. It's time for CytoSolve. Welcome.
All right, thank you, Dr. Prabhakar. So that should give you an idea what CytoSolve is. It's really a platform, and it enables us to, our movement, to have a technology that frankly is a big competitive advantage. And the process that we go through when we do discoveries, first of all, we take any area, let's say like liver or heart, and we create a molecular architecture of that field. And we'll explain what that is shortly. Next, we then publish our findings to the global community. We give it away and we let other people critique it. That way we're fully transparent. Then we use that scientific molecular science framework, and we mathematically convert it to chemical equations from physical chemistry. That's called modeling. Then we use that model to screen compounds, combinations of compounds. And then once that's done, if we discover something, we get protection for it so the big pharma guys don't steal it. And then we license it or even manufacture it. So we have created our own process across many, many different areas of disease, from pancreatic cancer to diabetes, to dengue, to oral health, to men's health. And you can see there are all the different stages of development. Phase 6 means we actually have a product, we're selling something. So that's OsteoSolve and AndroSolve. We have phase 5 is we've discovered stuff, but we haven't gone to manufacturing. So gut brain health, anti-aging, immunity, brain health, and you can see so on, okay? And all of this is funded by us. There's no venture capitalists, no Silicon Valley guys. We're doing this all bottoms up. So think about what we're saying. We've created our own infrastructure to do research, discovery, production, manufacturing, get it out there faster and cheaper than the big guys. So it's been quite a long, almost a 20-year undertaking to create this. Next. So, and as an example, we created, when you look at HepatoSolve, we have hepato obviously means liver. We're looking at creating a product to support liver health. And we'll tell you where we're at with that. Next. So right now we're in the combination screening phase. We've done the architecture, we've done the publication, we've done the modeling. And again, all of this is funded by people, for people. And we have a couple more phases to go to actually create a product for liver health. Next. MV25 is an example of a product that we created from scratch using this process. Pharma and those guys would have spent 100 million to do this. We did it for fraction, order of magnitude less. And this product is amazing. It works. We get rave reviews, but it was done without any animal testing. Go ahead, Prabhakar.
Millions of people suffer every day from painful discomfort and swelling, but most pain medications come with harsh side effects, and many alternative supplements have little scientific backing. That's why we at CytoSolve created MV25. MV25 was formulated using the CytoSolve Computational Systems Biology Platform, a technology for precision and personalized health invented by Dr.SHIVA during his doctoral research at MIT. This formulation is the result of computing trillions of potential combinations of biomolecular interactions derived from thousands of peer-reviewed scientific papers published across 4 decades by 68 research institutions to discover an optimal synergy of compounds that downregulate biomarkers of discomfort and normal swelling.
Hi, I'm Barbara Ann. My hands would cramp up so that I couldn't hold cards or knit or crochet, and they would go like that. And I'd have to use this when I played cards with my grandkids, and I started taking that MV25. After a bit, I was able to hold cards in my hand, very, very little cramping, hardly at all anymore. MV25.
Hi, my name is Sandy. I'm a Taekwondo instructor. I tore my ACL during Taekwondo. I had a lot of pain and limited mobility. I've been taking the MV25 for about 6 months now. After the first week, I noticed a big difference. After the second week, almost literally no pain.
My name is Jeremy, and I suffer from a lower back problem. Hurt my back at work years ago, and I can go to the chiropractor, do all kinds of different things, and nothing seems to help. And I decided to try MV25. I didn't notice a difference immediately, but within a few days the pain went away, and it stayed away. I've continued to take it, and even when I do things that I shouldn't do, it seems to go away a lot quicker than it ever did before.
MV25 is certified clean, 100% non-GMO, made in America, and GMP certified for good manufacturing practices. MV25 is CytoSolve optimized, which means that this formula has been engineered to maximize benefits while minimizing toxicity based on current research curated by CytoSolve. As the science advances, so will this formulation. This is our promise. Order online at mv25.life. Consult your doctor before taking any supplement or medication and use as directed. MV25.
That's a living example of the process that we've done to go end, from doing the science to doing the work. So as we summarize that next, you'll see that in 2017 and 19, we did the architecture of osteoarthritis. We mapped out 100,000 different molecular mechanisms. Then we published it. And then following that, next slide, Prabhakar. Yeah, then we published that in one of the leading journals in the world. And then we used all of those molecular mechanisms relative to joint health, and we modeled it. And then we went through many different compounds that come from these different vegetables and fruits. And we identified a set of compounds, and we did trillions of calculations. And that then led us to find a set of compounds that we identified, and then we tested, and then we found very, very profound effects on this combination at the right dosages to affect many molecular pathways involved in pain and inflammation. Arachidonic acid pathway, PGE2 signaling, COX-2 synthesis, and oxidative stress. So we actually know what's going on. It's not like buy this because it works, right? This is very different level of standard of evidence-based science that we do than every sort of other guy out there. They just sort of say, believe you. And we can actually give you all the knowledge to understand this because they're very transparent. And then we went and got a patent, okay, for it. And then with the patent, we're able to protect people like Amazon just stealing other people's stuff. Next. And then we went and produced it. And then we market it. But all of this we've done as a movement bottoms up. So it's a lot of work, but we know how to go end to end. So this capability can be made available to anyone. Next. So you can go to mv25.life, go buy the product, use it for yourself. It's beneficial, but you're also supporting everything we do. Thanks. We also, similarly for pets, we found about 16 different compounds from nature that is essentially a food-based product, K9701, that is really incredible for pets. It's a powder you can just mix into their food. Next. So when we look at liver, we created, we go after different areas of health. We created the Liver Health Initiative. And as we mentioned, we've done the architecture, we've done the publishing, we've done the modeling, and we're at the combination screening phase. And we'll show you what we have accomplished so far and how you can participate. So first of all, from the architecture standpoint, these are the different triggers that can hurt your liver health: obesity, viral infections, gastric bypass surgery, high cholesterol, type 2 diabetes, alcohol abuse, acetaminophen, toxic mushrooms. You can also put, what's that stuff that grows on rice, Prabhakar? We've talked about this relative to turmeric. Starts with an A, I forget. But
it's a toxin
anyway,
from the
what
fungus. It's a fungal toxin.
Yeah, what is it called?
I forget the name now.
But anyway, what's interesting, the reason I'm reminded of this is in Asia and India, the #1 source of death in Asia, believe it or not, is liver disease. In North America and the United States, it's heart disease. And the reason is this particular fungal toxin grows on rice.
Aflatoxin.
Yeah, alpha-toxin. And it kills, it causes liver damage. Now in India, people do eat rice, but they combine turmeric. And it turns out turmeric blocks that pathway. And they've done multiple studies now, and it's pretty much epidemiological studies. It conforms to this interesting pattern. In China, there's 3 times more liver disease than there is in India because of the addition of alpha toxin, ALFA, aflatoxin, right? Because of the addition of turmeric. So anyway, but these are, and there's many other triggers. Okay, so our architecture reveals that there's multiple triggers of liver disease. Next. So what is liver health though? Next. First of all, liver health emerges from detoxification of waste material. And the imbalance in detoxification processes leads to accumulation of toxins resulting in liver disease. So if you look at the diagram on the right, you have fat-soluble toxins that result in, and by the way, the nutrients needed to support that process are vitamins B2, B3, B6, B12, folic acid, glutathione, and flavonoids, okay? And that supports the phase 1 of eliminating fat-soluble toxins. Phase 2 is the aspect of getting rid of water-soluble toxins. And typically, most of that's eliminated through your urine or your bile or your stool. And for that, this is why methionine, cysteine, magnesium, glutathione, vitamin C, B5, B12, glycine, taurine, glutamine, folic acid, and choline are very, very important for that phase 2 process, which includes sulfation, glucuronidation, glutathione conjugation, acetylation, amino acid conjugation, methylation. The bottom line is you have the removal of fat-soluble toxins and water-soluble toxins. They require different nutrients, but the liver is really the organ of detoxification, right? It's like keeping your blood clean, okay? Next. So these are the common liver diseases which affect the hampering of that detoxification process: hepatitis B, hepatitis C, ALD, known as alcohol-related liver disease, NAFLD, which is non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. And then this one is a big area that pharma is putting a lot of research into recently. It's called NASH, N-A-S-H. And NASH stands for non-alcoholic, where did I go? I lost, yep. Non-alcoholic steatohepatitis, okay? So these are many well-known liver disease, but a lot of research is going into NASH. Next. 1.5 billion people in the world, oops, not oral health, Prabhakar, I think you meant liver health. So 1.5 billion people in the world have liver health issues. And so if you think about it, that's roughly about 20% of the global population, 8 billion people on the planet. So it's not something small. It's quite a significant area. So from a market standpoint, anything that supports liver health is very, very good. Turmeric is one of the herbs that supports it. And we'll also talk about glucaric acid shortly. Thanks, Prabhakar. So next. So the disease etiology sort of breaks up into this. Hepatitis B, 31% men, or cirrhosis, I'm sorry, where the hepatitis B leads to cirrhosis, and deaths in men is 31.5%, deaths in women is 24%. Hepatitis C actually affects women more, from a little bit more. They're almost the same, but women suffer deaths from cirrhosis from hepatitis C a little bit more. ALD, men. NASH, again, you can see it's almost double NASH, and NAFLD in women is almost double that. And the other types of liver disease, again, women seem to be affected more. Okay, next. So what is involved in supporting the liver? Because what you want to do is you want to make sure the liver detoxifies itself. And what the CytoSolve science team, we identified 4 major molecular systems involved in liver detoxification. One is apoptosis, and we'll define that, a big term. Actually, Prabhakar, before you go into there, one is deconjugation, the other is oxidative stress, and the other is beta glucuronidase synthesis. So you don't need to know what these are. We're going to walk you through, but each one of these are subsystems of many, many different molecular pathways. So I want you to understand from a systems perspective, it's a system of systems: apoptosis, deconjugation, oxidative stress, and beta glucuronidase synthesis. So these 4 things have to work properly to support liver detoxification. Now, apoptosis, let's go into that. Apoptosis is cell death. Old cells need to die. If old junk is not dying and it's hanging out, you're going to get a Frank Sanford and Son junkyard, okay? So that's what apoptosis is. So in apoptosis, you see that on the bottom, it says how cell death occurs, which occurs from a molecule called caspase-3. Well, caspase-3 occurs from 3 different upstream pathways: caspase-3, CJUN, and APAF1. And if you follow on the left side, if you follow it backward, you find out APAF1 is a result of intrinsic damage and stress DNA damage up on top. And that is what leads to cell death there. And then you have 2 other mechanisms, okay? Bottom line is there's 3 sort of ways that cell death can take place. But that's one area involved in liver detoxification, cell death. Prabhakar, do you want to take people through the other 3?
Sure. So the second one is deconjugation. So this is a mechanism by which the toxins are conjugated and deconjugated. Some of the enzymes involved in it are beta-glucuronidase. So this is another one that comes up in another pathway. So basically, if you have toxins, conjugation is important. But once you after the conjugation in a later stages, these toxins have to be deconjugated so that they can be released out of the body. And in a detoxification case, if you don't have proper deconjugation, your liver will accumulate more toxins and it can cause further damage and eventual death. The next mechanism is oxidative stress. So oxidative stress occurs at in many biological processes, including liver detoxification. So if there is an imbalance in your oxidative stress, that means you have more reactive oxygen species. They start damaging the internal molecules which are necessary for metabolic functioning. So and that damage gets accumulated and it further accelerates the damage to the liver. The last pathway is the beta-glucuronidase synthesis. So beta-glucuronidase is an important enzyme for the deconjugation. You want to have a proper functioning of this particular pathway so that your liver actually detoxifies the toxins in your blood. And each of these pathways are associated with a particular biomarker that if you want to take care of the detoxification process, you either need to upregulate or downregulate those biomarkers. So for example, for apoptosis, you have CPARP as a biomarker, and you need to downregulate that biomarker so that you don't your healthy liver cells don't die. For the deconjugation, you need to downregulate the conjugate levels in your blood so that your liver stays healthy. Oxidative stress, you want to minimize the the reactive oxygen species, the ROS, and similarly, you want to lower the beta-glucuronidase as well to maintain the toxicity level in your liver. Based on, so we actually published this paper last year in February in collaboration with Christine Fields from Applied Foods, where we outlined all these pathways and connected them together and how exactly these pathways are implicated in your liver healthy. In this paper, we also studied the effect of a particular molecule called D-glucaric acid, and I'll share those results in the next few slides. So again, published in 2023, first of kind molecular systems architecture for liver detoxification. So we're able to identify those pathways, identify those biomarkers that need to be downregulated to keep your liver healthy, in collaboration with Applied Foods. So the next phase in our CytoSolve innovation process is the in silico modeling. So we're here, we based on our systems architecture of those 4 biological processes, we convert them into mathematical models and then integrate them together, create a computer-based experimental setup for liver detoxification. So this will give us a platform to test different experiments, such as efficacy of these natural compounds or some hypotheses that we may want to understand to get more details on how the liver detoxification processes work and so on. So in the screening process, we identified this is a partial list of natural ingredients that can be useful for promoting the liver health. So we looked at the glucaric acid for this particular publication, and we looked at the effect of glucaric acid on both all those 4 different pathways. So what you see here is the first pathway, the CPAP production or the apoptosis pathway, and how glucaric acid is changing that particular biomarker. So
Prabhakar, can you just 1 second? Can you just go back to the previous slide? Because I just want to let people know that what you're looking at here are in the known literature right now. People have identified these 15 compounds, and some of them you may know. No, if you go online on YouTube, you'll see probably different videos on turmeric or beetroot or cruciferous vegetables, and you'll see people doing these.
cleanses.
What's that, Prabhakar?
Cleanses.
Videos,
liver
right?
cleanse.
Yeah, people say do a liver cleanse or drink green tea or take lemon or burdock, and you'll see thousands and thousands of videos on this. The reality is no one talks about how much you should take, really, right? How much is right for the right person? Can you combine them? So what we're doing at CytoSolve is these 15, known things that historically people have known for centuries. What are the compounds in those things, and how should you combine them? So you can really figure out what works for different people in different conditions, but more importantly, can we create new medicines from natural products? You'll hear people saying, oh, take some olive oil and some lemon, right? Well, is that more effective than eating turmeric, right? Or walnuts, right? Or dandelion, or should you do all of them? So anyway, that's what we're doing. We're looking at what's in the known literature, but then finding particular compounds. And from those compounds, using the CytoSolve technology to understand how those compounds affect those 4 subsystems that Dr. Prabhakar just walked you through. And those subsystems are those molecular mechanisms which involve those little ball and stick diagrams. Go back to them, Prabhakar. So if you go back to these diagrams, let's go back. So all of these are molecular mechanisms that people have won Nobel Prizes for, just for one of them. So this is like a system of chemical reactions. You eat turmeric, you eat milk this, you take glucaric acid. Where does it connect and how does it affect these? I just want to give sort of the view. So next. So what we're doing is we're taking a very systematic approach. We've identified here these 4 biomarkers, which we know you can measure these in your blood, are measures of liver detoxification occurring properly. Okay, next. And then so what we wanted to do today was to show you that we took this thing called D-glucaric acid, which a company called Apply Foods actually creates. And they came to us and they said, we think this has very powerful effects on liver, and we actually did the work. Next. So we could do turmeric, which we've done. We could do walnuts. We could do coffee. We could do dandelion. You may have something that you think. Milk thistle is one that's very, very well known. It's also called silymarin. Burdock root is known in Chinese medicine for years, ginger in Indian medicine. Lemon, people tell you wake up in the morning, have a little glass of warm lemon water, and it'll support, revving up your liver. We could actually use CytoSolve to tell you exactly why. Prabhakar, that's something we may want to do,
Right.
Why for thousands of years, people said when you get up in the morning, take a little bit of, half a lemon, put it in warm water. So that's what CytoSolve allows us to do. It lets us find why instead of just being believe me. Next. So now, as Dr. Prabhakar looks at glucaric acid, he's going to look at how glucaric acid affects, go back, Prabhakar, those 4 variables. Go back. So if you want to, what we've uncovered is that these 4 values are like your sensors that tell you, is that input you took in having effect? So if you're taking something and it downregulates CPARP or glucuronide conjugates or ROS and beta glucuronidase, that's a supporting liver health. Some of them may just lower ROS, but not lower glucuronidase or CPARP, right? So when we're talking about liver health, you want all of these things to be downregulated, which means go down. So just think about what we're saying. Is any one of them going to do it? Probably not. This is why if you want to support liver health, you need a combination of things because you want all of these to be affected. Next. So that's why when we looked at glucaric acid, we're looking at the gold standard that we've established. How does it affect each of those individual biomarkers? Go ahead, Prabhakar.
All right, so in this graph, we have on the x-axis different levels of glucaric acid, and on the y-axis is the biomarker. This is the apoptosis biomarker. So we want to decrease this biomarker to obtain better liver health. So as you can see, when the first bar represents control, that means we're not giving any glucaric acid, and then we start increasing the dose levels of glucaric acid as you move right. And the bars get shorter and shorter. That means that glucaric acid is actually, as you increase the amounts, it is actually lowering the amount of the apoptosis biomarker. That means it is actually helping the detoxification processes. That's the one biomarker. Second one is the glucuronide deconjugate. So these are the toxic things that accumulate. And then first bar, again, we don't have any glucaric acid in there. You have the highest amounts of deconjugates. That means the liver is under toxic conditions. As you increase the amount of glucaric acid, it actually sharply decreases the conjugates. The deconjugation is reduced.
Prabhakar, you notice it goes up a little bit though, right? That's dosage.
No.
I'm sorry, that's dosage.
Yeah.
That's
So
dosage.
yeah, so the dosage levels, we went from 0 to 26 to 52. And these are based on what is available in some of these natural ingredients. So there is a slight decrease from 26 to 52, but there's an immense decrease when you add just 26 milligrams of glucaric acid. So what this data also says is that you don't really need to add too much of glucaric acid. So this is kind of a nuanced analysis that CytoSolve is able to give you as to the dosage levels as well. And we can get more sophisticated with this. This is just individual ingredient being tested here. But even with that, we can actually say at what is the cutoff or what is the maximum amount of a particular ingredient we need for a most effect for a particular indication. That's the second biological process, the deconjugation. The third one is oxidative stress, where we looked at how much ROS production is being affected by adding the glucaric acid here. We noticed that after even as low as 1.8 milligrams of glucaric acid compared to the control, lowered the reactive oxygen species considerably from almost 70 to 20. And it did not really improve if we increase the amount of glucaric acid. So we have a cutoff here. Beyond that, you're just spending money without any getting any benefits. So that's the third biomarker. Lastly, we have the beta glucuronidase production. This is an enzyme that you need to keep low, so to maintain the liver health. Here also at 26 mg, we found a pretty drastic reduction in the levels of beta glucuronidase. Any further addition to glucaric acid did not improve the results. So that means we can actually just stop at 26 milligrams of glucaric acid. That's the last biomarker. So basically, all the biomarkers of liver detoxifications were reduced, some greatly, some not as significantly. And this is kind of a summary of those results. So what we see is that glucaric acid is able to significantly reduce 3 of the biomarkers: glucuronide deconjugates, reactive oxygen species, and the enzyme beta glucuronidase. But when it came to the CPARP or the apoptosis, it was not as effective in down-regulating the cell death. So here's where we can think of how we can improve. If you are to make a product out of these natural ingredients, I would like to have an ingredient that will increase the apoptosis efficacy so that these two will work in synergy to improve all the biological processes involved in liver detoxification.
Yeah, and I think broadly what the reason we created this methodology of understanding this is that, so when someone talks about heart health, brain health, in this case, liver health, what do they mean by that? And from a systems approach, we're saying liver health is a function of these 4 subsystems working. It's not just one thing. So when you're looking at these YouTube videos, someone saying, oh, eat this, it's good for your liver health. Well, what aspect of liver health? And this is why they're creating, in some ways, they're not telling the whole truth because they don't even know how to take a systems approach. So now this little diagram you can sort of say, oh, I eat, by the way, glucaric acid, a lot of it's in cruciferous vegetables, right?
Yeah.
Broccolis and so those kind of things, right? Your cauliflowers. So, those foods are affecting 3 of these pathways, and to Dr. Prabhakar's point, but they're not helping apoptosis, which is necessary. So where would you get that? You say, this is why mixing different nutrients gives you this whole framework. And so, on where we have glucaric acid, below that, we could have another product. It could be milk thistle or green tea and another one. And if you add things correctly and we can calculate, in the best case, all of these things are lighting up as dark green. Now you've come up with a combination that works. Okay? And there's infinite numbers of combinations, but we have a methodology to identify those now. Thanks, Prabhakar.
And so this kind of brings it all together. So we have a kind of a systems architecture of how exactly glucaric acid, which can be found in oral supplements such as the calcium or potassium D-glucarate. And once it goes into your body, it metabolizes into glucaric acid. And it has 4 different mechanisms by which it actually helps with the liver detoxification processes. First being the oxidative stress. It actually inhibits the Fenton reaction that leads to production of ROS. In the second, the decarboxylation pathway inhibits the beta-glucuronidase enzyme, thereby preventing liver damage. And then in the cell death apoptosis pathway, it inhibits caspase 8 that is implicated in further downstream pathways which lead to cell death. And in the glucuronidase synthesis pathway, where it inhibits NF-kappa B, which downstream of that is the production of beta-glucuronidase enzyme. So we need to downregulate to better our liver health. So one molecule, 4 different pathways, 4 different targets that were identified using CytoSolve innovation process. We have published the findings. We are in the process of, we have done the in silico testing for 1 ingredient. We're in the process of screening additional ingredients that will enhance the efficacy of, or support the efficacy of glucaric acid and create a product that will help with the liver detoxification process. Once we do that, we will apply for the discovery and patents. We protect our intellectual property, and then we will start licensing and manufacturing the product. So that's the last phase. So we are, as I mentioned, we're in the combination screening process for the liver product development. And this is where you can help us to get us to the finish line. Some of the ways that you can help us is by the existing CytoSolve product, or fund the CytoSolve research, and I have some information on that in the later slides. You can also become affiliates by reselling the products or referring the CytoSolve services to others. We can also help you produce your own products, and then, of course, you can join the larger truth, freedom, and health movement, of which CytoSolve is a part. So go to MV25.live, buy MV25, or K9701 at bshow.com/K9701. and can also fund our liver related research or any research aspects, because we are dedicated to fight against racism, and we are promoting the indigenous medicines that are actually sourced from nature. And CytoSolve gives a powerful platform to extract those molecules from the natural foods and create optimized synergistic product that actually work. Most of the, this is also done without doing any animal testing. So this is all done on computationally. So we don't need to kill animals to create new products. We are beyond this incestuous web of science, which includes the big government, big academia, the pharma, and the big publishers, which collude, keep science from destroying the origin in science. So we are going beyond this incestuous web of science.
Yeah, and I think it's important to
work.
understand. Yeah, I think it's important for people to understand that this is a completely revolutionary framework of how we're discovering and developing products. And anyone here can support development. The traditional model is the government extracts money from you. There's massive opacity. There's not any transparency. And it takes 16, 20 years to actually find out that the research that was done was actually fraudulent. So we're creating a much more open, transparent model of how we approach this, and you guys can all be part of that. Next. Donate, support the research. Next, and some people may have family members who are, next slide, who have passed away from some particular area. And so you can actually support initiatives for very specific areas, but we have the liver health initiative right now that's also up there. And by the way, when you support the research, we also support people by giving them access to all different kinds of tools so they can actually learn system science. Next. Relative to the International Center for Integrative Systems, next. You can also go there and go back. If you donate there, you actually get your 501c3 tax write-off. So if you care about tax, those kind of things, you can go there and donate. But that lets us do the systems architecture research. Next. Go ahead, Prabhakar.
And then we have affiliate programs where you can become an affiliate to resell our products, or by referring them to your friends and families, or companies. You refer companies to us who want to use CytoSolve services, and you also get compensated for that. So there is if you go to vshiva.com and our contact page, the customer service, you can select affiliate applications and then fill up the information, and we can set up a meeting with you to learn the process of becoming an affiliate. We can also help you develop products, your own products for a particular area of interest that you may have, or you may have some natural ingredients that you think that are helpful, so we can help you with that as well. I'll put this link if you're interested in that. We can schedule a meeting. Put the link in the chat later on. And then, of course, you can join the Truth, Freedom, Health movement. Attend the orientation on Thursdays, 11 a.m. as well as 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And for Systems Health, we have the tutorials every Friday at 11 a.m. or 7 p.m. vshiva.com/tutorial, the link. And ultimately, this is the solutions that we are providing. This is to think, fight, and heal through our 3 different initiatives. These platforms: Truth, Freedom, Health Leadership Training Institute, Yeshua Systems Health, Health Educator Institute, and CytoSolve's Open Science System. Thank you. We will open this to questions. And I'm going to put the links here in the chat. All right. So we have some comments that I will go through. Thank you for some of these encouraging comments. Grazia says that your systems, education, and resources are unique and so very deep. Thank you so much.
I think the key thing we want to let everyone know is this is our 6-1. We talked about oral health. We're going after all of these oral health, and the last one we did affects 3.8 billion people. We're going after major areas. The liver is extremely important because you take care of the liver and you support many, many of your processes, just like oral health. But the approach we're taking, you can all be involved. We just did glucaric acid. I think, Prabhakar, we're going to look at silymarin next, right? Or milk thistle. That's one of the areas we want to look at. There's the Gerson method, some of you may know. People who had cancer, they use the green coffee enemas. Does it work or not? We can use, where they take the green coffee beans and they literally, do enemas with this. And there's anecdotal evidence that said profound effect on cleaning people's liver, and you clean the liver, and then people have a much better health. Cancer gets dissipated. So, with this technology, we can really assess that. Is it true or not? So it's a research platform, but it's a platform for us to take all the stuff that's out on the internet and find out if it's real, and what really, and then give some scientific basis to it. So just think about, you may want to reflect on this very powerful capability our movement has, and then how you guys can support the effort. What someone just posted somewhere, since liver health, what did they say, Prabhakar?
I think Grazia has a question.
Since liver health not yet completed, can one take turmeric and resveratrol to help right now? Well, we're not, health is not completed. We understand the mechanisms. We've looked at turmeric and the compounds in resveratrol. Turmeric, independent of our work, there's traditional knowledge which says turmeric has a lot of powerful effects on liver, dating back thousands and thousands of years. I don't know, the jury is a little bit out on resveratrol, but the polyphenols in wine may obviously be of value. And again, it depends on how much you drink. It's a part of this is not only the compound, but how much. Dosage is very, very important to determining toxicity. As you noticed in the glucaric acid, over 25 milligrams, it doesn't really do much, right? You hit a homeostasis. So that's why it's really important to understand dosage. Jason said, would you add turmeric and curcumin in the future to MB25? We could. There's boswellia, there's turmeric, there's a lot of stuff we could add.
But we are currently working on a concept of packs. That's probably something we could do in the packs.
Yeah, one of the things we're working on is, one of the conclusions we've come to is that if you look at the body, there are base nutrients we all need, like a base set of nutrients. And it looks like a lot of people are taking this vitamin, that vitamin, or they hear and they get totally confused. So one of the processes we're doing is a base set of foundational nutrients that everyone needs, not just a multivitamin, but a whole broad spectrum of nutrients. And the problem is that if you start buying vitamins, you have so many of them in your home, and people start one, they take one, they don't take them, and it's become massive confusion. So we're going to create a pack where this pack has everything you need. So, at broad base, you're getting the molecular reactions in your body can fire in spite of the food being depleted, etc. Then you can personalize it. You can stack it if you have particular things for women's health or men's health, right? And so on. So that's the approach. So keep an eye out on that. And the other piece we recently did was in systems health. We created 7 different mixtures of teas from organic herbal sources that affect different subsystems of your health. Again, personalized to the individual. So you can use this tool that'll help you figure out what kind of body type you are, how your body is off course or on course. And then you can figure out which is a right type of mixture that you need for you to support your advancement. So we're going personalization. Those 7 products were just developed over the last 3 years. So keep an eye out for those.
Gracias, and Margarita and you have raised their hands in that order.
Hello?
Go ahead.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, Dr. Shiva, you just mentioned a bit earlier about Gerson therapy. I wonder if you heard of new German medicine that was particularly developed by a doctor to cure cancer. So I don't know if you've heard of it, and it's really effective in 82% of people. I wonder if you would look into different practices and methods, and maybe sort of to discuss about these methods and what's the best out of these practices could be maybe recommended. So yeah, that's what I wonder about. And also I asked in earlier, I asked in the chat, you mentioned about toxic mushrooms, and I'm very interested. Is there any information on which ones are these toxic mushrooms to avoid?
Yeah, so we have a whole mushroom initiative. Maybe what we'll do is Prabhakar, we should share our mushroom research we've done.
Yeah.
So we'll probably we'll do that for next month. But we've looked at a whole range of different mushrooms. But getting back to your thing on these different modalities, you see there are all these alternative modalities. And in the United States, there's something called the National Institute of Health. Their budget for alternative therapy research is about 125 million, which is, I think the research budget is probably like 100 billion or something like that. So it's 1/1000th of all of that research. So with CytoSolve, we can actually explore this alternative health areas, but much faster and cheaper. 6 months, a year it takes us to do this work. But most of this is dependent on we do it just as a noble service, but with funding, we could actually go and do this research. Like the Gerson Center should fund us, frankly, to do this, or the German guys should fund us to do this, because we can figure out why it works, how it works at the molecular level, and actually share that knowledge with people. Like this glucaric acid guys came to us because they had found some really cool work, but that no one was believing them, right? Prabhakar, the applied food guys.
Right.
So we actually went down to the molecular level to do that. So I think part of this, if you guys know these people, this is a participatory thing. We don't have all the time to go do this. If you guys know Gerson, call up the Gerson Center. Say, look, I just saw this amazing technology that can help validate your work. Why don't you do a collaboration with them? So that's the way you want to think about this, because our goal in doing these symposiums is not for us to just do all the work and you guys sort of just to observe, but to give you the knowledge that we are doing the work. This tool is here. The hammer is here. The nails are here. Do you guys want to build a house? Do you guys want to build a shed? What do you guys want to be part of? So people know the Gerson people, call them up. People know the German people, call them up. Now, what's interesting is we find, because CytoSolve is so transparent, some people will talk a good game, but they don't want it researched properly because maybe they're concerned it doesn't work, and they're relying on marketing or relying on YouTube videos. So we sort of take all the hocus pocus out of it. We can actually find out, does it work? Why? How much? How often should you do a coffee enema, right? how often, whatever those methods are. And so that's why we want to really enable you guys to be solutions people, where you can say, look, there is a solution that can help figure this out. We don't need to sort of just argue all day. There's not opinions. You can actually use molecular science here. Does that make sense? So think about this as a tool that you guys could, quote unquote, take to market or go to people and give them the opportunity to understand this.
Right. One more question, Delio, go ahead.
Hi, good afternoon, Dr. Shiva and Dr. Prakar.
Hi, Delia.
So,
Yeah.
hi. So with the lemon, you mentioned warm water. Hot water is okay also.
Well, I mean, the traditional thing is you do warm water with a squeeze of lemon. The issue that I want to know, Delia, is why.
Well, nothing else was working. I tried ozone treatments with Dr. Robbins and then with Dr. Olivo.
For what?
For whatever, yeah.
For your liver, to support your liver?
Well, I thought it was actually for a gastritis that I had.
Uh-huh.
And I saw Dr. Olivo. He told me it was my liver, but he didn't tell me anything about the lemon water. But I just did it on my own, and I'm getting better.
Yeah, lemon is pretty amazing. Lemon with, warm water in the morning,
Yeah. The reason I ask is because you mentioned how important it is to get the right measurements and do the right do it right. Because what I do is I squeeze the lemon, then I pour the boiling water into the lemon.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the same thing, or should I just?
One of the things you just want to be concerned about with, you're bringing up the heat of the water. There's a lot of interesting research that talks about how hot you should eat food.
Right.
And I would say you can put the hot water, but you should let it cool down, because the hotter food you eat, it can affect your, the back of your throat, your esophagus. So, moderation is best in a lot of these things. Be kind to your body.
Okay.
You need to burn.
Yeah, like I don't drink cold water. I drink it warm
definitely.
water.
Yeah.
And what do you think about the ozone treatments?
I haven't had look. The thing is, I hear a lot about these things, Delio, and some level it makes sense because you can use it for, reducing reactive oxygen species, but it's all about how much dosage and all these kind of things,
Yeah.
Now, the traditional way of doing research is you do clinical trials and you do this with CytoSolve. We can build these models and test stuff. So what I want to have you guys think about is like what we've created as a digital lab in the cloud. We could run experiments and we could publish. One of the things I don't think we made clear enough is we have the ability to set up the architectures, to do the modeling, and then to publish in the leading journals now in the world. We've become an established standard now globally. We have, Prabhakar, we have a paper coming on stem cells, another paper on acute lung injury, right?
Asthma.
Yeah, we have 4 papers we just submitted, and these are the major journals. We're vying to get them to submit us. So CytoSolve is now becoming a standard, like an MRI machine for analysis. And the difference is we're making it accessible to the world, to all of you guys. Everyone on this call can become a citizen scientist. You can go to people and say, hey, look, I don't go to the Lemon Foundation. Seriously, Delio, they may, because they want to sell more lemons, right? We think lemons can work. Why don't you fund CytoSolve research? Go to the Gerson Foundation. So what I'm saying is, this is a solutions platform for understanding how things work, mapping it out, and publishing it. So, and why should we wait for the government? They're not going to fund research on lemon water, are they? No. They're not.
I know. Yeah, I know that when I haven't taken any ozone in about 6 months now, 8 months. But I know that when I was in Dr. Robbins' office and then subsequently in Dr. Olivo's office, they were hush hush, under the radar. We can't say much about it, this and that. I mean, I can go back to them,
Yeah, I know, but what I'm saying is the reason a lot of these alternative stuff stay hush hush is they don't have a scientific framework to validate their things. We do. You see, this lets you validate stuff. Think about what we're talking about. If we can say, great, let's validate your stuff, and then we publish it. Now they don't have to be hush hush. We make it quote unquote mainstream because we publish it in the leading journals. And it's very hard now to screw with CytoSolve because we've published so many places very quietly, and we've created this as a gold standard. It's hard for people to discount us.
Right.
But it's taken us 16 years to get here because we've had to step by step very quietly publish, We've had to do all the hard work. We've done the heavy lifting. So I'm just saying that to Delio's, the conversation we're having here is think about CytoSolve as your laboratory. And you have access to this. You can use this lab to put together new research proposals. And our biggest thing is we're limited on resources meaning people. Right. Well, you solve that with people funding it. So, we have 80 people on this call. Let's say you each guys take an interesting project or come together and we go validate things and we publish them, and that helps that whole field. We just did something on for kiwi fruit, right, Prabhakar?
Yeah.
The New Zealand, kiwi fruit is very good for bowel movement. An organization, Zespri, funded us to do that. And we figured out why it works, how it works. And out of that emerged a company which found 2 active ingredients from kiwi that now they're selling globally. And they've become a very, very large company because of our work. So our research actually puts people on the map. So just think about what I'm saying. You don't have to whine and say, oh, I don't know what's going to happen. That's research is being hushed. Go to these people and say, look, we have a technology that can help figure out if your stuff works, and publish it and make it mainstream, or at least give you a winning chance. That's powerful.
I will do that. Yes, for sure.
Yeah. And then see how they react. I went many years ago when I was on the West Coast. Remember, Prabhakar, that Chinese medicine company? They claimed they had these products that were really good at this. And we said, great. And they were about to sign a contract with CytoSolve for us to do research. And at the last minute, they bailed. The son, who was a Western trained MD, and the father was supposedly a quote unquote a Chinese doctor, he told his son, don't do this, because what happens if CytoSolve finds our stuff doesn't work? We may lose all of our sales. And they were a multi-billion-dollar company. So because of the transparent model we make it, that we're making this, even the so-called alternative people, some of them get scared because because some of these things, are they real or are they not? So I think the main thing think about is that we have this technology, this framework. You have now a scalpel in your chest. You can figure out how you want to use it. You can go help other people. You can go to people and say, look, there's a technology. Let's figure it out together,
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, everyone. I hope this was valuable. But we're continuing our research, and Dr. Prabhakar will close with how you guys can support us. And Prabhakar, you can probably give people the Calendly link, right? Thanks.
Yeah, I'm going to send it again.
Okay.
And then we have, I guess we have time for one more question, Dr. Shiva.
Yeah.
Lisala from Hawaii. Go ahead.
Good morning. My connectivity is bad, so I put my questions in the chat. I worry about being cut off, not heard.
We can hear you. We can hear you.
Oh, you
really.
can?
Yeah. Yes. Today you sound great. Yeah.
I'm going to try then. I'll speak slowly.
Okay.
I understand emotions create disturbances. Can this tool assess one's overdose of their specific emotions and thoughts? Get the metaphysics.
Well,
helping us stack our thoughts to heal. I'm just contemplating on how to clear the disturbance of lifelong programming from culture, media, MK Ultra, etc. Thank you.
Well, what's interesting is in many traditional medicines, each emotion was associated with a particular organ system.
Mm-hmm.
Melancholia, right? Spleen, sadness. anger, liver, right? Worry, water element, kidneys, you see? I've wanted to, at the molecular level, look at these, you see? Chinese medicine specifically is much more attuned with this. It associates particular emotions with particular organ systems. So there is a framework, a hypothetical framework to work this out on. It's a research project. Alisala, who would want to support us to do that? Who would be interested? Like, so you take an emotion like anger, high anger, low anger, and then you can look at actually how it affects liver, you say, if that's what the hypothesis is. Or kidney dysfunction, right?
Yes.
Grief affects lungs, you know? When people are mourning. So there is clearly a body of knowledge from traditional medicines associating emotions with organ subsystems. I don't think what's been done is to translate that at a molecular systems level to validate that, but that would be pretty cool.
I've been dabbling in quantum frequency healing, and I've learned that in my studies that it's the emotions that initiate the frequency that creates the chemistry that
makes sense.
balances or disturbance. So I would love to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah. Well, I think, ultimately, from one level, from a physical chemistry level, where there are multiple, you can look at the body many ways, right? You can look at it electromagnetically, you can look at it chemically, you can look at it mechanically, you can look at it at an atomic level, right? It's all layers of where you want to put the magnifying glass. And all of them are manifesting the same thing, it's just at different levels, right? So the physical chemist is looking at the body as a body of chemical reactions. As above, so below, everything is reflected within each other. So it doesn't matter what you choose, whichever layer you're working at, do that well. So we're working at the level of physical chemistry here, fundamentally, chemical reactions. So obviously, everyone has experienced when you're angry or when you're stressed out, right? You can't eat properly, right? I can't eat now, right? Think about what you say, right? These obviously are affecting different systems in the body, which are affecting chemical systems. What we just walked you through is the liver detoxification system, a series of molecular pathways that are involved. It would be interesting to see what happens when you're angry, right? How that affects it.
I know the spirit of the liver, the job of the liver is to help us understand what we have and see what we want and transmute it to that. So the anger, the agitation of the spirit of the liver, from the frustration of that's from where it comes. That's why I see such power. It's almost like, why are we here on a soul level? That, answering that through the lens of the emotional cornucopia we create. And before the chemical reaction. Appreciate your time.
Well, I think all of these are interrelated, it's like the chicken and egg. I think they're both interrelated. So, all right, everyone. I hope this was valuable, but again, the takeaway we want to leave you with is, yes, we discussed liver, but hopefully from these questions, what should emerge is you have a tool. If those of you are looking at alternative therapies, go to those alternative research institutes people and say, look, we have a tool. We meaning
Rafa, búscame un bote de agua.
I can help you. Oops, somebody.
Un bote de agua. Un bote de agua.
Let me mute this person. Okay. All right. Prabhakar, thank you very much. Thank you to all of you for your questions and your attendance, but get involved. Key things, go to Truth from Health, support this movement, become a part of it. Thank you. Be well. Be the light. Thank you.
Thank you.